I begin? We're all very familiar with this societal pattern, aren't we? We are in the age of hyperlinks, shares, likes, and emoticons, contributing to several distractions from all around us. A recent survey revealed that an average person spends about 4 to 6 hours a day on social media and online engagements. Social media has become a very important tool for all generations these days. Technology is a double-edged sword. While it brought in many efficiencies, made our lives more productive and simpler for many of us for the past few decades, it's also provided for some serious distractions, giving birth to various platforms, derailing our focus from our personal growth as well as community give back. So focus, which is pretty straightforward to implement, has become increasingly difficult to apply to our own personal growth and the community that we're all in. Though social media is being seen as an essential element in our lives today, the problem becomes when it expands beyond a reasonable use of limit, causing us not to focus on how we advance ourselves and the community that we are in. Let's look at some statistics. This is the average time we spend on social media each day. On Facebook, we spend about 35 minutes. On Snapchat, 50 minutes. On Instagram, 53 minutes. And on Twitter, 17 minutes. It's about 2.5 hours a day. The statistics are for us to see. So what is the big deal? It's about the value of time. It's about the value of time in relation to how it can be used more productively. How much of it can be potentially harvested for better utilization? And how much of this mindless distractions or needless distractions are derailing our focus day to day from everything that is more valuable to us? Time is a valuable resource for all of us, and it expires at the end of each day. However, do we really take time to think about time? How much value do we give to time itself? Do we adequately ponder about the value of time in our lives? Maybe not. William Penn once said, "Time is what we want the most, but we use the worst." We all have the personal and social responsibility to use our time towards something more meaningful. So let's see where we are going with this. Let's look at the statistics a little bit one more time. Going back to the stats that I just shared, changing the dimension to a week, we spend about 17 hours a week on social media usage. 17 hours. Inherently, there's really nothing wrong with social media in itself, nor is the time spent on social media necessarily time wasted. It could very well be a channel for relaxation and unwinding. Yes. Although the idea that I'm trying to propose here is, how about we divert that time towards a worthy cause that can provide rich dividends to all concerned? That's it, just 1% of your week and 1% of your day. And let's look at what that means. 1% of your week is about 100 minutes. And 1% of your day is about 15 minutes. But it can go a long way. And in fact, 1% is significant because that fraction lays its foundation in a concept called continuous improvement, or Kaizen in Japanese, which means K is improvement and Zen being good. And Kaizen is all about improving by taking small incremental steps towards something much bigger, much significant, and much larger. Although improvements in the Kaizen are small and seemingly insignificant at the moment, the results bring about dramatic change in the long run. And it's also about compounding. These 1% improvements that you make every day, every week, compound on each other, bringing about unbelievable results over a period of time. You just have to believe in your consistency in making those 1% improvements and upping your game by 1% at a time. That's all you need to do. So when you focus on the 1%, the results are much stronger, much more sustainable, and much more visible. You just have to focus, stay focused on the 1%. So let's look at a personal development perspective. For our own personal development, for our own personal growth, the 100 minutes, the 1% of your time, can go a long way. You all must have heard about the saying, life is a marathon, not a sprint. There is certainly merit to that saying, and all of us need to pace ourselves adequately to ensure that we have resources to see us through the journey. However, the difference is the attitude and the approach, an approach which I call sprinting. And this sprint is not your dictionary definition of sprint, which is accelerating towards a short-term goal. Rather, it is from the agile, lean mindset, which is taking baby steps, incremental steps, and going towards something much larger, slowly, steadily, consistently. And achieving your goal cannot happen tomorrow. It can be overwhelming. It can be sometimes daunting. You cannot be in your achieved desired goal tomorrow. It's a process. Most of us give up after first few attempts because the journey seems long and indefinite. And most of us even give up for the fear of failure. Instead, break your goal into smaller chunks, tasks and units, baby steps or experiments. And these baby steps and experiments provide you with incremental results and the consequential learnings, which will tell you if it's working or if it doesn't. It will also create space for confidence and space for introspection. Is this the right way to head out? Or do we need to pause? These are called the feedback loops with which you can propel towards your ultimate goal. So ensure that you can think, plan, implement your 1% increments in the day or in a week towards your goal. For example, your desire could be that of an artist. You cannot be an artist tomorrow. And most of us don't have the luxury of pausing our day-to-day grind and focus on this goal of becoming an artist. Instead, what if you bring 10 minutes of practice into your day-to-day life, 100 minutes of an experience becoming an artist into your week? It blends easily. It comes in seamlessly. It's not that difficult, it's just 1%. And the power of sprinting is that you don't have to displace significant elements of your current life to pull in this new element. It's just 1%. So there's not much of reconfiguration of your life that you need to do. It's tiny, it's simple, it's doable. In fact, this is more manageable than chasing a huge win sometime in future all at once. Focus on your 1%, adopt the 1% challenge, and the results will be for you to see. But with that 100 minutes a week, let's see what you can do. All of these and more. You can do a 10K mile run in an hour. You can pace yourself to read a 500-page book in 7 to 8 hours. You can acquire basic swimming skills in about 20 hours. You can learn a song on a piano or guitar or any musical instrument in about 10 to 14 hours. Very tiny, but very doable, but the impact is much more sustainable. Now let's see what you can do to the community adopting this concept. The 1% contribution towards community engagement can be phenomenal. And in fact, declining rates of volunteering and community give back are being attributed to more people having less time on their hands. They're simply occupied with online engagements. Also, young adults and younger generations are inclined to do less charity and less volunteering today than they were 15 years ago. So bringing all these communities and individuals together aligned is to have small and sustainable commitments. That's the power of 1%. It's small, it's sustainable, it's tiny, but it's doable. That's the continuous improvement we need today among all generations. Now, what can that 100 minutes from us do to the community? A lot. You could write a letter of encouragement to soldiers on the borders. You could hold a book drive for your local community library. You could do a blanket drive for homeless shelters. You could mentor a boy or a girl in your community, help them with their schoolwork, take them to an outing once a month. You could, in fact, help senior citizens in your community do their groceries, medical bills, take them to doctor visits. There is no limit. It's just 1% of your time. Now, if you want to take this one level up and amplify the impact, form a group of like-minded individuals who can help multiply this cumulative time and help amplify this cumulative effort so we all can impact this community at large, so that the results from this cumulative effort can pay rich dividends, can be qualitatively significant and quantitatively much richer than one individual. Imagine 100 minutes from one individual contributes to 1,000 minutes from 10 individuals. Now, what can that do to the community? You can hold a book drive for less fortunate children in your community. You can hold a clothes drive for less fortunate families in your community. You can cook a meal for homeless shelters. You can organize a run to end Alzheimer's. You can, in fact, organize special days in senior citizen homes and a lot more. There's really no limit to imagination or your ability to give back to the community. Together, by contributing 1% of our time, we can make this world a much better place. I leave you with this thought. Claim 1% back from your week's time. It can pay you and those concerned in the community much richer dividends and leave us all better people than we are. Thank you.